Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to install the rather excellent Thermalright Rocket Knight 120 CPU cooler. This is going to be on the AM5 platform. It is pretty much exactly the same for the AM4 platform, just a little bit more dexterity required when handling the CPU backplate, but other than that it is the same process. So let's get straight into it. So let's talk about what we're going to need to actually complete the process from our accessories box. So you will be needing the AMD fittings bag, which has the 4 pinky red standoffs and also 4 screws. You'll also need the 2 brackets, which are marked up as AM4, but they are AM5 as well. Potentially you might also require this. This is the PWM splitter, because this CPU cooler has 2 fans attached, one at the front, one in the middle. Then you may want to combine them into one PWM header if your motherboard doesn't have a CPU optional port. If it does have a CPU optional port, you're more than welcome to attach it to that. Also, you'll require some thermal paste. There is actually some TF7 included in the packaging. This is actually really good thermal compound, but you can use whatever you like. Obviously, you'll need the cooler tower itself, and as you can see, this is assembled at the moment with the fans actually on. You'll have it disassembled, so you'll need the 2 lots of brackets. So there is one set of brackets for the 15mm fan at the front, and there's another set of brackets for the 25mm. If you look inside the packaging, you'll see the brackets. There's a little tab on them saying which one is which. Also, you do get an additional set of brackets, so if you want to swap out the front 15mm fan for a 25mm fan, you can do that. That is optional. Also, obviously, you're going to need some access to your motherboard. Now, we've got this motherboard out of the PC case just to make it easier to film, but you can do this with the computer all assembled. That is entirely up to you. I would strongly suggest, though, if you are going to be doing it in a fully assembled PC, lay the computer down flat so the motherboard is in this orientation. That way the cooler can stay on there very easily. It is a little bit kind of side heavy because of the larger heat stack on the side. So if you're doing it in a vertical orientation, it is going to become quite tricky. Also, for those of you that are interested, if you are doing this on the AM5 platform and you're the sort of person who swaps out your cooler now and then to maybe try different thermal pastes, etc., then I strongly suggest getting one of these thermal paste guards for your processor. They're very inexpensive. I'll put some links in the video description, and they also help for cleanup purposes because you can just pull that off and it doesn't get all of the thermal paste actually down inside the CPU, which can be a real pain to clean off. So first of all, we'll be removing the standard stock brackets, which are on the AM4 and AM5 platform. So you'll need a cross-headed screwdriver, a PH2, and you can just remove the screws and also the plastic bracket. Do that for both the top and the bottom. Put the screws and brackets somewhere safe just in case you need them in future. Next, we'll be using the accessories from the AMD marked bag. So we'll want our 4 pink standoffs and also the 4 screws inside the bag. Place the standoffs over each one of the protrusions from the backplate. Next, we'll be needing the 2 brackets marked AM4. They are also suitable for AM5. Put the 2 brackets on top of the standoffs, and there is a kind of semicircle to the design. The semicircle should be facing inwards towards the center of the CPU. Next, we can take our 4 screws, put them through the hole in the bracket and down through the actual standoff, and you can do a couple of screws to get each one started if you wish. And then get a screwdriver and tighten them right the way down for a snug fit. All 4 screws should come to a hard stop. So that's the bracket setup. Now we can take a closer look at the actual cooler. So next we want to take our 2 fans. So we've got our 25mm thick and also the 15mm thick. Obviously, if you want to use an additional 25mm, you can do, that is optional. And you'll want 2 sets of brackets, which you can hopefully just about see here. So we've got these ones for the 15mm. You can see they're quite shallow. And for the 25mm, we've got these ones which have got a larger arc here. So that is for the 25mm, and those are for the 15mm. Now, to get these installed, all you need to do is to find the 2 edges. So with your cable coming out of the top or the bottom, doesn't really matter which way at this point, that has to be coming out the bottom rather than out the side, otherwise it will get crushed by the clips. So grab your clips and they go through the holes and just push them into place. And they should lock in. And also do the same on the other side. And it should look something like this. Now we're going to do the same for the 25mm. Again, we're going to have our cable either coming out of the top or the bottom. In this particular instance, it doesn't really make a great deal of difference at this time. Grab your clips. You can see you've got this edge here. Push that down through the hole and do the same at the rear. So when you're finished, it should look something very similar to this. And most importantly, with the cable not having any clamps or anything over it to obstruct it. So that's our two fans done. Now we can install one of them onto the CPU tower. Okay, so now we can install one of the fans. So you don't have to do this now, you can actually do both of them later if you want to, but I just wanted to show you just for the sake of it. So because this uses two different size stacks, this is the front and this is the rear. So because of where the screws to actually tighten up are, which are sunken down in here, if you put your middle fan in, you're not going to be able to gain access to it, but you can, if you want to, put the front fan on just to get that out of the way. So in order to do that, get it so that the cable is coming out the bottom of your fan. If you want to, you can just lay it down and put the fan on the top, roughly in place. And you'll notice on the side you've got the spring clips, so you just pull them down so they latch into place. So let's go ahead and do one of those now. You can hold the fan if you want to, just to keep it still. And make sure the clips are firmly installed in that ridge. There we go, there's a close-up so you can see exactly how it works. And obviously on the other side it's just a kind of rinse and repeat. So just stretch the wire over slightly and just pull it down until it locks firmly into place. Again, should look something like this. Now at this point, if you want to, you can make any fine adjustments. You should find the fan is basically level with the top of the heatsink. This one is very, very slightly higher on one side, but I don't think I'm particularly too bothered about that. I think I'll leave it as it is. If you want to readjust it, you can just slacken off the clip and make any minor adjustments you wish to. In this case, it's going to be very minor. And then stretch the clips into place. And there you go. So that should be pretty much perfect along that top now. So now we're ready to install the tower onto the motherboard. So make sure you remove the protective coating. If you wish to, you can give that a clean with isopropyl alcohol. I'm not going to bother, it looks absolutely fine to me. Don't forget to put on some thermal paste. It's got a little blob there in the middle. You can install your paste however you see fit. So what we want to do is to match up these two parts here, so the two protrusions coming from the bracket, and match those up with the two screws or the kind of connection parts either side of the heatsink. So the larger tower goes towards the rear where your VRM heatsink is, and I often find just by lining up one side first and place it on top of one of the screws, and then you can just let the other side fall into place. Now you'll need a longish screwdriver to get down into the screw. You can do a couple of reverse turns and you'll find a little notch or click, and do a couple of turns just to get it started, and do the same for the rear one. There's the click, and we'll do a couple of turns. Then just do it alternating, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just do 3 full turns until you reach a hard stop. Once you've reached a hard stop, for AM5 users, I would suggest doing a full turn in reverse, and do that on both sides. and that just reduces some of the mounting pressure on the CPU. So now we can go ahead and install our middle fan. So in order to do that, make sure that your cable is coming out the bottom. You've got your clips in already, and then you can just slot the fan down inside the middle. Now you can let it fall down to the bottom, it's absolutely fine, and then you can actually raise it up a little bit just to get it leveled. And if you hold the spring clips on both sides, that will allow you to balance it. So when you're in the right position, just stretch the clips back like so until it goes firmly into the channel. And before you do the last one, you can just do any final adjustments to kind of get it in the right position, make sure it's all nice and level. And again, with the spring clip, just with your finger, just stretch it back into place, and you should find it locks into the location bar. Now to remove it is obviously the reverse, so all you need to do is just pull it hard and unlatch it, and then you can remove it should you need to. So there we go, that is our cooler installed. So now what we're going to want to do is to actually connect up our PWM connections, which at the moment are coming out the bottom here. So you can cable manage this however you want to, just wrap it round underneath. The choice is entirely up to you. You can pass it through the middle should you wish to make it nice and tidy. Essentially what we're going to want to do is to find our PWM fan connector. Now on this motherboard, it's just in here next to our RAM slot. So if you want to, you can take advantage of the splitter cable, plug that in first of all into your PWM header. And then all you need to do is to grab both of your fans, PWM leads, and attach them to the splitter. Now depending which one of these fans is connected into the 4-pin version, so as you see there, there's only 3 pins on this one, so this isn't a sense pin. This other connector has all 4 pins inside it, so this is the sense one. So because the fans spin at very slightly different RPMs, if you want to register the RPM of the middle fan, make sure that is connected to the 4-pin. If you want to register the rotation spin of the front one, then make sure that's in the 4-pin one. Again, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to choose to use the middle one. So that is going to be our sense pin, so that is going to be for the middle one, and then we can take the other one and plug it into the splitter. If you wanted to, if you've got the headers on your board and you've got a separate one for CPU optional, you can of course plug one of the fans into there, but plug the primary one into your main CPU header. So once you're done, you can just tuck in your wires, get them out of the way, and that is essentially it. You'll notice as well, for those of you wondering, there's actually a really good clearance on the back here for the VRM heatsink. Absolutely miles of room there, so even if you've got a larger heatsink like this motherboard does, you aren't going to have any problems with installation. And also likewise for RAM, there's an absolute ton of room and it misses all 4 slots by an absolute mile. So even if you have high profile RGB RAM in there in all 4 slots, you aren't going to have any overhang. So that is absolutely brilliant. So there you go, once all that is done, you have completely successfully installed your RK120 cooler onto your AM5 or potentially AM4 platform. Again, going back to the PWM thing, it doesn't really make a great deal of difference if you plumb them both in. It's kind of about 100, maybe 500 RPM different. So realistically, you're not going to notice it, but I know there's going to be some people who might question it. So anyway, there you go. There's how to install it onto your AM4 and AM5 platform. Hopefully the video's been useful to you. If it has, smash the like button. If you want to see more content of this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe, and also don't forget that chime notification button. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.